Okay. Detailed and beautiful. Like there's this one, she does her slab like this, but she hand paints everything on her slabs. So when she hand paints, they're like, you know, like coloring books. The coloring books.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and say good morning because I don't know if some of y'all wake up like at 5 a.m. or if some of you woke up like 5 minutes ago. Okay, so good morning and welcome. Just to let everybody know, this is our last science session. So you guys get to be that lovely group that holds it down with me, and we're going to end this together, and hopefully we can get some better understanding of what was my screen not sharing? Did it go away? Okay, sorry. But anyways, good morning. If you can in the chat, go ahead and just put in there your name, what school you're from, and how many years you've been teaching science. Okay, so that's very important because we know that some teachers are veteran teachers, but they're just getting into 6th grade, or some of you have been teaching science for a very, very long time. So we just kind of want to get a feel for everybody that will be in today. And so I would like for us to get started. Now, I want to forewarn all of you. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already taken some sessions, considering this is our last day. And I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. I know that it can be hard and difficult to go back and forth with the presentation, with watching me going through the presentation. So I just say it's up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the presentation link, which is DR1. You can write it down and save it for later, or you can open up on a new tab. So I just want to make sure I give that info because we know it can be a little bit confusing, right? So, but it's there for you. And so, Holly, do you mind writing it into the chat as well, just in case, since I'm going to move from this area?
Got you.
Okay. So my name is, oh, my bad. It's so sensitive. There we go. Okay, so my name is Alyssa Villarreal, and I will be teaching 6th grade at MLK. I have been a part of the science TLT since the very beginning. I'm also part of the math TLT team, so some of you may have seen me in the 6th grade math session. I apologize, you get to see me twice now. But anyway, so here's my information. If you need to email me or anything like that, feel free to do so. We are here for all of you, right? And myself, so please, if you have any info or anything to share, please share with us. We are going to start off our morning by watching a video from, let me close this, from Mark, a quick message for our Summer Institute participants.
Good morning and welcome to Summer Virtual Institute. I appreciate and thank all of you for joining us this week and willing to learn with us as we lean into a new year of learning with our students. This is not the instructional program that we had hoped to accomplish this year in terms of our students starting the year in a virtual format. But I believe that together we will build a strong instructional program to support the students of our district. So I want to speak a little bit about the importance of this week's learning with respect to our instructional program and emphasize a couple of key points for us before we start today. First and foremost, I'd like to emphasize the importance of understanding what the state is requiring of school districts this year, in that there are a set number of instructional minutes that we must adhere to. It is our goal that through the virtual nature of our instructional program over the first quarter, that we can rise above and beyond those minimum minutes, ensuring that our students receive ample in-person to the best of our ability instruction, meaning synchronous learning, where we are zooming in with our students online, supporting them, teaching them, equipping them them with the skills to be successful in this virtual format. And then we are also balancing that with what we call asynchronous time, where we are assigning kids to complete assignments through many of our instructional tools and resources, while we as teachers and educators work in small groups with students who simply need more time with intervention. And so you are going to receive a lot of information from our instructional services support team. You are going to receive a lot of tools and resources to support you with the instructional design of our program for this year. Just know that we're in this together. Let's support each other. Let's be there for each other, and let's work together to make the very best and strongest instructional program for our students. So once again, thank you very much. I look forward to learning with you this week, and I look forward to a successful school year. Thank you.
So obviously, you know, a really great message there. I know many of you may have already heard it before, but we're just really trying our best, as all of you know, just to kind of get through this virtual teaching. I would like to introduce my lovely colleague, Holly Gonzalez.
Hi, everybody. If you don't know me, my name is Holly Gonzalez. I am the instructional specialist for science at the district office. So if you have any questions, anything science related, you are absolutely welcome to email me at any given time. I will apologize ahead of time. There's a bunch of us in a large room here, so you may get some occasional background noise. I'll try to stay muted unless I need to talk. So just kind of give you a heads up. We don't have real good microphones over here. So, but yes, I'm here for you. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out, and I will, I'll put my email in the chat as well.
Thank you, Holly. And Holly will also be working on the chat as I present. She will be answering any pertinent questions that relate to science or relate to this presentation in that moment. So right now we're going to kind of go over our virtual learning norms. As many of you have already learned, just to try your best to stay muted. We know that there can be a lot of background noise, whether if it's TV or whether there's just, you know, sometimes just background noise. And so just trying to keep, and there's also that feedback that happens too. So then some people can't hear, or I hear like a second version of myself. If you can, please use the chat with any questions that you may have science related or for myself, and Holly will definitely kind of like chime in and let me know if there's any important questions. Be camera ready, just meaning, you know, we want to know that you're present. We want to know that you are here. You know, we do not want to force anyone to obviously be on camera, but you will be engaging a little bit later in breakout rooms. You will also be kind of engaging with the Flipgrid. So definitely I just like to say be camera ready in some format. And of course, think positive and be patient. Be patient with me because it's just me, so it's kind of hard. But just be patient with yourself and just know to think positive within yourself as well, right? I mean, we are teachers. We have so much going on, and honestly, it could be overwhelming to get all of this information, and so you might also feel a little bit everywhere. But I just want to say to all of you, it's okay. Just think positive and be patient during this time. So let's take a quick mindful moment. I'm not going to share a video or anything. All I want you to do is to just take a look at this picture, and I want you to look at the quote, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about how does this relate to what we are going through right now in our educational system. All right, so I just wanted you to take that moment to yourself. We don't have to really share anything. It's mindful. So I like to tell my students, whatever's in your mind just can stay within your mind during these times. But just kind of take this all in and kind of think about how does that relate to what we're going through now. So of course, as many of you have heard or seen, we are going to be giving out the sign out and the evaluation at the very end about 10 minutes before the earliest. With science, sometimes we do tend to go all the way up, like today would probably go up right until 12. But sometimes, you know, if we're good enough, we'll try to get us out. The earliest would be 10 minutes early. And of course, the evaluation for myself. And if you have any questions district-wise that can be related to science, but more something that the district might handle, there is our parking lot, which is here and available. And just type in it throughout the session if something pops up. I know I have done it because I'm also a 6th grade teacher and I teach science. So that has come up in my head too, like, oh, let me add that to the parking lot. So if I've done it before, I know probably you guys have some questions. And maybe you can also see if there are any that have already been addressed, and then maybe you might not have to answer it. But that is there for you to take a look and to work on throughout. And of course, we have our BCSD core priorities: a culture of collective efficacy, culture of teaching and learning, a culture of student-centered schools, and of course, that multi-tiered system so we can have that access for all students. And throughout this presentation, you're gonna kind of hear me come back to our district goals, and you're gonna kind of hear me relate it back to that equity. Right? So we know about equality, but we know as teachers, equity is so important. So we try to have some lessons that hopefully can help out with that equity a little bit. And we still know that we have a lot of questions, obviously. There have not been many answers. So, but you know, we're gonna try our best to see what we can do during this time. Our learning intention for today is to learn how to modify our current BCSD science units for use in a hybrid or virtual learning environment. So we are going to learn how to take what we already have. We don't want to do anything new or throw anything new on us teachers. So we are going to just modify those, and we are also, your success criteria is kind of learning how to make your own science lessons and how you and your PLC can take this back and move the work forward. So we're going to begin by engaging within a Padlet. By doing this, though, you need to read an article, okay? So Christine Chapman shared with us an article about engagement through remote learning. And what I wanted to share with all of you is that it's about 4 pages long, but when you click on the hands, okay, so when you have your presentation, you click on the hands, it'll bring you to the article, okay? So the article, once you click on the hands, I bookmark it to go directly to what I wanted you to read. And so once you kind of get through that, there are some bulleted points, and I would like for you to find the bulleted point. Sorry, I didn't click on the one on the presentation, so it didn't take me where I wanted it to. Right here. So you're going to have some bulleted points, and just take a look and see which one resonates with you, and you're going to write about it in the Padlet. And how can you take that back to your class? Okay, so this article is really about relationship building, communication, and just continuing on with that. Whatever we did in our classroom, we can also do in person, right? We're teachers, and that's our goal as teachers, is to continuously make things personal and create those relationships. So take your time. I'm going to give you until about 10:20, about 4 minutes on your own, and just come here to our Padlet, and you will find an article response. I think somebody wrote theirs yesterday on there on accident, but you'll find yours article response for today, July 30th. Okay, and all you'll do is you'll put the plus sign right here, and you will just respond to one bulleted point that resonates with you and that you know that you can bring back to your science classroom. Okay? Holly, are there any questions?
Nope, we look pretty good so far.
All right. So I'm going to give you guys about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, and we'll come back and take a look at this Padlet. In about 2 minutes, I'll kind of read what has been populating, okay? So I'm just going to kind of go through. You guys can continue typing. You can also do this within your classroom too, just to hold the students accountable. And you may go ahead and, have them, you can screen share and kind of show that you are reloading and you're making sure that their Padlets are coming up, and you can kind of start reading them as they come in. At least that's what I do, because I want to make sure they're doing their work. So we have Teresa, who has said, I think allowing students to share their own skills and interests is important. I know in the spring, I had students show off their artwork they had created. Yes, me too, I love art. Songs that they had learned to play. Oh, I love that. And even their dogs, right? So how are you going to have them show that, right? So we have flip grids. They can take a picture and they can put it on their Google Classroom. Maybe you can create a document. So a lot of different ways to show off what they know. Katie has said, we did a breakout in Zoom for small group, but they had a slide that the student would type responses to the discussion. Yes, right? So definitely continuing on that group work, even though they might not be in person, but continuing that work as they are working, right? And as they are going, as they're watching a video, as they're looking at their discussion. I dig it. Personalized feedback. I love that, because on your flip grids that you guys are going to make, I pop in on a couple of participants and teachers as the day goes on, or like the weekend, and I'll pop in and I'll respond back to your flip grid via video. And that also makes that personalized feedback, not just continuously saying, good job, I like what you did. Good job, I like what you did. Good job, right? Instead just saying, wow, I really like how you use this and this and blah, blah, blah. So great job. I really appreciate you guys interacting with this Padlet. Continue to do so. Please add your name, as most of you have seen already. Add your name and respond back. I'm going to go ahead and continue on because it is now 10:20. I want to show you all, let's see. Okay. So we have some ELD strategies, as most of you are aware, and a lot of us have taken the trainings last year on a lot of these conversational skills, and we have one created for science. I'm not just sure if you guys noticed or saw this, but we have one made for science, okay? So I wanted to show you, I think I have one up here, yeah, a little bit more of a close-up. For example, as students are working or exploring or engaging, you can simply ask them, what do you wonder about this observation? So instead of just asking them, what do you wonder, you are now applying that vocabulary term observation to it. What is your claim? Why is this important? Can you give an example from the text or from the observation or from the experiment that you have encountered in your life? So one thing I want to mention is that we do have these icons here. I know most of you have seen them, maybe you even have them up in your classroom. So what you can do, which you'll find a lot in some of my lessons I made, was I kind of put the little like the little light bulb in the corner of engage, because this is kind of where you have that phenomenon where you're having the students create their thinking. So you might find that in the corner. So I just encourage you, whenever you're making your slides or whatever means you're going about, you can kind of add these little icons. You don't have to go out of your way to do anything fancy, just add the icon. It's a reminder even for yourself to just kind of say, oh yeah, let me just ask them really quick, why is this important? Why do we want to look at this video? Like, why do you think we're trying to learn about this, right? So whatever you kind of go about in your teaching, but that is there for you. There is also kind of like a new ELD, it's kind of like a document with columns, and it's kind of broken down. So that is also linked right here where it says ELD strategies. So right here it is linked, but we're not going to go over that, but it's just for you to kind of take a look at, okay? But I would definitely want to show you the science aspect of the placemat. So we are going to dive into some virtual science, okay? I'm going to kind of go over one of the lessons briefly, okay? So you're going to engage with it a little bit, and the rest you're just going to kind of hear me just letting you know what is within a lesson and how to go about doing that. But we are going to add ourselves to my virtual 6th grade science classroom. So I'm going to leave this up here. I'm going to give you about a minute or two I want you guys to go to your classroom. So your little option in the corner, kind of like for me, I don't know, can you guys see for me? Like over here, when you open up a new tab, the options come up. I think most of you know how to do it. It's just like the 4 squares, like the option will come up. Oh gosh, right here. And then you're just gonna go to classroom, and then you are going to click the plus button, and you are going to add yourself to this classroom right here. And the class code is ZPJODSC. So I'm gonna give you guys about a minute to kind of log in. And what I'm gonna do is I will look in a second just to take a look at the people that are in my classroom to see if some of you are adding on, because this is how we are definitely gonna be working today. Okay, so I think we should have everybody in on that. So again, what I like to do is I'll come back to my classroom, and then I will look at people, and then I will just kind of just double check to make sure that there are some, like if I take a look here, on my screen, I can only see like a few of you right on the video because I'm sharing. So who I do see is Katie Afon. Yay, and her video is on, which is so nice because it's kind of nice to see people. But what I'll do is I'll just look for one person, like one kid, and then I'll kind of come through here and I will double check and just look for Katie. And then I want to make sure that everything is working. And there she is, oh, she was at the very top. Look at me scrolling all the way down. So there she is, Catherine Afon. So I know, okay, it's working. At least for me on my end, it's working. And then I'm just gonna allow everybody else their time to kind of hop on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue going. So your class code is on there. So now, are you guys ready? We are definitely going to kind of go through a lesson a little bit. And again, we're taking what we already have, those lovely science units, and we're just modifying them. So a lot of you may have already seen this video, but this is your engage piece. Now, kind of going back to, I think, kind of what Katie had said in the Padlet, which is while I'm giving them something, I want them to produce something. So it's kind of the same idea, okay? So right here, we're going to engage in a notice and wonder. But within your classroom, go to classwork. So I want to give you guys a second. Go to classwork. And you're going to scroll down to where it says engage. Now, all of you have your own way of designing your own classrooms. Obviously, I'm going to have my own way. But for this one, what I did was I just added the 5 E's of how to make, you know, how we deliver a science lesson. So our engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So under engage, you will find the work that I want you to produce and to turn in. So we're going to click on engage. And within here, you are going to find a little snippet of the Google Slides. Within that, you will find a notice and wonder, okay? So you're gonna find something like this. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. Remember, I'm gonna take it kind of easy because I know going back and forth kind of is a lot. With your kids, you're gonna take your time, okay? For the purpose of a PD, it's a little bit faster. But I'm gonna go back to the presentation and you'll see something like this, okay? So you are going to type in your own. Once you are done, you're gonna click turn in. I'm going to play a video. As I play the video, I want you to type in your notices and your wonders, okay? As we watch the video. All right. Here we go. Now this video is about 4 minutes long, but I decided just to take it up to about 1 minute. Again, all videos you want to vet them and you kind of want to take a look at what they have and how much time you want to give to it.
– 40 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god. 33.
Wow. Awesome.
Oh my god. Wow. 20 seconds.
Oh, I got corona. I got corona.
Yeah?
I have corona.
Yeah? There it is.
The reflection on the water.
10 seconds. Woo!
Diamond ring.
Diamond ring.
Diamond ring. Look. Oh my god. Whoa! My god. Look. Prominence.
Impresionante. Wow. Woo! Oh my god. Whoa.
Check that out.
Woo! Wow.
Look at it. Oh, look at the cone of the shadow. See? Look at this. This is the shadow. Like this.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you about a minute or two to make sure that you type in your notices and wonders and you add them, you turn them into your classwork, okay? Now, be prepared. Please be prepared because I definitely want you guys to share with me, okay? As a teacher in my classroom, I know a lot of you may have done this. If you had this notice and wonder poster, you would have probably written on it and left it in your front of the classroom and you would have gotten responses from the students. So now virtually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type it into this presentation or this slide deck. So be prepared if you can. I'm going to have at least 2, 3, 4, 5 of you share what are some of your notices and what are some of your wonders, okay? I'm going to give you about 1 more minute to kind of do your own and submit it just so you kind of know what it looks like. And then I'm going to bring you guys back in about 2 minutes, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys back. If you have not done it or if you did not submit it, it is okay, okay? So just for the purpose of the PD, I wanted you to kind of get a feel of what your students are gonna have to go through and just making sure that we give them that wait time, right? And of course, as a teacher, a lot of you have done Google Classroom, some of you may have not. I can come over here and I can go to the assignment. Do you guys see how I'm seeing it's populated and I can see that there are people turning it in. Now, if I want to be that teacher, which you guys, those of you who know me, you know I am, I'm going to probably click on it and say, Oh, I totally see now. Oh, Robert, you still haven't turned yours in. Are you working on it? Just kidding, Robert. I'm just giving an example, okay? And so I would have said, you know, da-da-da, and then that kid is like, oh my gosh, I better hurry up. Because you never know if they're messing around or playing around. So if you want to do that, you totally can. If you didn't have a chance to, that's fine. No worries. Now, my favorite part. As a teacher, I'm going to definitely ask you guys, hey, what did you guys notice? And I want at least 1, 2, or 3 notices are literally right there. What did you literally notice? Now, if you can you please use the sentence frame, I noticed, and then you just go ahead and begin. So if you would like to share, all you have to do is unmute yourself, okay? And please share. Don't make me have to like call you guys out. What did you guys notice?
I put that I noticed they were really excited to be watching the eclipse.
I wrote that I noticed they use the words corona, diamond ring, and shadows.
I noticed that it was dark in the sky around the sun, but light to the far left and to the far right.
Okay, say that one more time. Dark around the sky, is that what you said?
Around the sun,
Oh, around the sun, okay.
but light to the far left and to the far right.
I noticed the excitement in the voices as well as the fact that they were speaking Spanish and English.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you be my last one, La Felicia. Thank you for sharing, you guys. So she mentioned different languages. So what I would do in my classroom is I would kind of just take kind of what you see here, 4 or 5, right? I can't go through everybody, but now I would have those kiddos kind of share a little bit more, right? So for example, the different languages, and maybe they might say, because I'm just going to give you examples of what my kids did last year. One kiddo said, I heard that they spoke different languages. So this means to me, what did he say? It was a boy, and he said, and it means that it's important because there are different types of people there. And I was like, yeah. So we know that they're watching something that's important, right? Not, you know, and it looks like a gathering of people. So, okay, wait, we better address that corona part, right? So we know if you want to play your video, you are more than welcome to turn off the audio. We already know that this is how some of you work, right? You just want them to watch it visually. But I like for them to hear it because the excitement and then the languages like we just mentioned. They are going to bring up corona, which is fine. Just letting them know that obviously now it has a different meaning and there are multiple meanings to this word. And it's okay for them to see it and hear it and just know that now this is more of an academic vocabulary. Okay, the wonder. All right, go ahead and share with me some of your wonders. What do you guys wonder?
I was wondering where they were watching the eclipse at.
Where are they at? Good job. Another wonder?
Melissa, can I stop you real quick?
Oh, yes, please.
We're just having a little bit of confusion because the files are set for view only. And so people are having some difficulty. Some people have made copies, but then they're having a hard time submitting. And that's what I'm looking at too on this end.
Okay.
So can you just explain just from the teacher side how you did that and how the kids would do it if they needed to make a copy?
Yeah. So just quickly, once they come in here, just give me a moment because it takes a little while for it to pop up. When a student clicks on their assignment like this right here, it should come up. If it is a view only, then the teacher needs to change the settings, or the student can make a copy and then it becomes their own, which we do want it to become their own because they're going to submit it. But just
Can I suggest something?
Yeah,
I think what happened is we weren't in the class when you made the assignment, so it wasn't pushed to us. So our copy we couldn't make a copy like the teacher would assign, make a copy. We had to make our own copy, and it took us out of the classroom.
Oh, okay.
Because we were new to the group.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's good to know, right? So you are right. If it didn't get pushed out, it might not have said, because you can put on there there's an option that, and all of this too is in the EdTech website, but there's an option in there to literally say, make a copy for every student. So it automatically does it, which I thought I had done, but maybe, like she said.
Well, you might have, I learned this because I had a new student at the end of the year. Unless they were in your class when you assigned it, it won't do that.
Well, see, something new we learned, right? So I appreciate that. But thank you for those of you who made a copy. Once you make a copy, this is where it gets kind of dicey. And you kind of add your piece to it. Go back to the assignment. Now, I'm a teacher, so it looks different for me. Go back to the assignment, and on like the right-hand corner, I want to say, hold on, let me hide this. On the right-hand corner, it will say attachment, and you'll attach your recent, which is this piece, and then there's a big old turn in button, which you'll see that that's how all these teachers were able to turn theirs in. But hopefully that helps just a little bit. And again, if you didn't get a chance to do it right now at this moment, that's totally fine. And if you want to take a look back again on the Ed Tech Center, you may do that. Is that okay, Holly? Does that kind of cover it a little bit? I apologize. I'm sorry if it didn't work.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at that myself because I don't.
Okay.
We haven't had that difficulty before, and this is session 4, so there's got to be some glitch somewhere. So I'm going to try to troubleshoot that for you.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. So obviously I would have gathered some more wonders, and then those questions are really, really important because maybe it relates to their notice. For example, right here where it says, I noticed it was darker on the sun, but lighter on the sides. And maybe that's where the student can actually say, I wonder why. I wonder why it was darker. I wonder why it was lighter, right? I wonder why they are so excited. I wonder what is the diamond ring? Is it like a real diamond ring? Because that'd be exciting. Like, you know, so it's legit real wonders, okay? Excuse me. We are going to go ahead and go to our first breakout room. And obviously it's the morning, and I already know how breakout rooms go. I want to say hi. That's just me because I just stare at my 2-year-old all day and my husband. So I need like more people. So of course, we know we want to say hi. We want to introduce ourselves. So I definitely love to allow everybody to have that time. So introduce yourself and say one interesting thing that you have read, that you have watched, that you have baked or cooked, or made or crafted or created during this quarantine time. I have seen it all. And of course, we're going to ask you to answer the science question. In what ways were the students able to showcase their thinking or elicit their thinking with this digital format, just in the Engage? So how were they able to share their thinking, okay? I'm going to go ahead and send you guys off to some breakout rooms. Introduce yourselves, say one thing that's fun, and then, of course, like I mentioned, of course, how could the students be engaged, okay? All right, just getting those ready. We're just going to give you about 5 minutes, nothing too fancy, okay? I don't want to take up too much of your time. All right, you guys have fun saying hi to each other.
think we lost a few.
Slowly but surely, they will make their way back to home.
They're lost in the halls. You guys hear that? Those are fighter jets going into the airport.
Yeah, it just flew over the Ed Center and it was really loud.
Yeah.
We were in Carpinteria last week and multiple times there were military helicopters flying over the beach. I never
There's a
had that.
base
That's
just
neat.
up in there.
Oh, thank you guys for sharing. And I hope you guys had a really, by the way, I wish I could see those planes because my son loves looking at planes. But anyways, he's not here. I dropped him off at my niece because my nephew, my son is 2 and he literally, like Holly knows, he will be like sitting here behind me. He wants to say hi to people. Yeah, no, that would not work out. But anyways, thank you guys for engaging and talking to each other. If a couple of you guys, I hopped into your breakout and just said hi. And, you know, again, it's just nice to hear. I heard a lot of good science conversations in terms of one group had mentioned how it just allowed the students to think. Because I have yet to say, hey, we're learning about eclipses today. I haven't said anything like that. It's just really allowing the students to just be curious again and just think about what do they want to learn, right? So, and thank you for just chit-chatting and saying hi, obviously, to each other. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to make you guys get up and we're going to do some exploring, okay? So again, well, technically I already said it, but in your classroom, you have yet to say like, we're working on eclipses, but I think the kids are getting the gist of it. They're 6th graders, right? They've at least experienced the one last year. So what I put on here for the explore is you will build a model of the relationship of the moon, sun, and earth, okay? So what you're going to need is a flashlight, some form of flashlight, maybe using your phone if you're using your laptop or something to, you know, to have the PD. Something small. Now on here I put a small ball, but I'm finding how resourceful teachers are and how resourceful our students are going to be. So I'm just going to say a small object and a larger object, okay? But what we have found, as you see here on this picture, is like an apple and then like a small golf ball or plastic ball and then a flashlight. Now, what I would like for you to do is to move your moon, right? So how does it look like the shadowing with the light source, which is your sun, as you move the moon from one portion from in between the earth and the sun to how does it look when you place your moon behind the earth and then the sun is in front of it. So now, as I said, be camera ready, right? Because we are going to do this on a flip grid. So as you go out and find your objects, when you come back, I would like for you, this is on slide 17, by the way, where you will find the flip grid link. What do you wonder about the science behind eclipses? And did you notice a difference? So basically just explain to me what you're doing and what you're exploring and how is it working and what are you wondering so far? I haven't taught you anything yet. We haven't read a textbook. We haven't read articles. Just what are you wondering? And yeah, so we're just gonna do that. We're gonna engage in a flip grid. Now, again, as I mentioned, sometimes what I would do, maybe not for you guys, but I would have the flip grid up. And as I have the flip grid open, I would kind of take a look and see as the kids are coming up. And then again, I would kind of mention, hey, by the way, I would probably give them more time with this, but with this, it's just shorter. But I might say, hey, you guys, you have about 5 more minutes. I always tell them I don't like to hear my voice on their Flipgrids, but I'll tell them like 5 minutes. Oh, I see. Thank you, Ken. Yours is already up here. That's so awesome. You guys are getting them in there. It looks great, right? As I can kind of see them coming up. So you may find some of your colleagues on here, and as a participant, you can totally reply to them, by the way. Don't tell them I told you that, but you could, okay? So the students can reply to each other and give each other feedback. But yeah, so we're just gonna do that, engage with that, have fun, go explore, find these objects, and just explore with any clips and record yourself. We have found I've heard a couple of things, okay? I'm not too sure. I have played with this where I could leave my camera on Zoom and do a Flipgrid on the same device and it works, okay? I would definitely just mute yourself. But I have heard some other people say that they can't do that. So I just suggest turn off your video, put yourself on mute on Zoom, and then you can try out the Flipgrid because you want Flipgrid to take over your video. If you have children or family and you want them to help you with this, go for it. Because we know our students might need that. They might have their sister hold the flashlight for them or something. So feel free to do that. And I love it because I love seeing kiddos. They're so cute. And then they're actually giving like a true response. So anyways, have fun with it. We will come back like about 11:02, 11:03. Okay. And so do I have any questions before I release you? Nope, looks good. Okay, you guys, so I will see you back here. Put on your video, turn on your videos when you come back. So I know you guys are all back, okay? About 11:02, 11:03. All right, you guys, have fun. Okay, I think I am kind of seeing everybody coming back. Thank you, Teresa, for having your video on. I know you're with me and you're kind of back. I'm going to give maybe everybody else about another minute. Yay. Hi, Ken. Welcome back. I'm just going to kind of check my Flipgrid just like I would, like I said, in the classroom. And I see about 2 of you have submitted it, which is fine. So I think it's just the timing. We want to make sure everybody has enough time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop share really quick. If I can get everybody either with your video on, or if you want to give me a thumbs up letting me know that you are back. And just so I could see, make sure everybody's, oh, cool, cool. Thank you. I love those thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, so obviously I have attended sessions. I attended one at 8 o'clock the other day, and I definitely was not ready or up, but I was still able to let the participant know I was engaged or I was here or being present by showing the thumbs up. I may have gotten a little bit ready and then I turned on my camera. But yeah, so good. I'm so glad you guys are back with me. Now, I just want to share something. I know that it was kind of short, right? But again, within your classroom, you'd give them, you know, a good amount of time to try to find their items, work it out, put it on their Flipgrid. And so, you know, just trying whatever you can. And the whole idea is just for them to explore and to kind of come up with, why is this happening, right? Okay, so we're going to move on to the next portion of our 5E. And I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay, good. So as you all know, the next phase, unless if there's somebody new here, I couldn't see the chat. So the next part of the 5E lesson is explain. Now, this is your teacher part. Before it was more, you are the facilitator, you're allowing them to explore. Now I'm coming in with the content, and now I'm going to come in with what is actually being learned. So there are multiple ways to do this. We are kind of done involving ourselves as a student, because now I'm just going to kind of go through so I can give you time at the end to kind of look through how to create your own lesson. But for example, this first one right here is a video. And all of these lessons, or what I'm going to show you, you will find in the units or the lessons that were created for you for the first about 4 to 5 weeks. I think I made 5 weeks worth. I can't remember. I just kind of went lesson by lesson. So I finished 3 lessons, and they're just a mix of ideas and a mix of things. We have videos, we have Achieve 3000 articles, we have epic books, we have the Holt book. There's excuse me. Woo, my throat caught wind. There is a interactive text PDF file of the Holt science book for the kiddos if you want to find a specific area. So there's all kinds of ways to some of you use mystery science. So there's different ways to deliver the content. So I just want to show you really quickly this video. I'm going to show you like 10 seconds of it, okay? And it's a short video, about 4 minutes for the kiddos.
You forget the difference between a solar and lunar eclipse too? One looks like this, and the sunny day suddenly becomes dark, and the other is a full moon that gets darker and darker.
A lunar eclipse is when the moon is blocking the light from the sun. Wait a minute. No, I changed my mind.
See, it's not just us. Here are 3 different ways to remember which is which.
Okay, so they're actually going to go through it and they're going to kind of give us the content in about 4 minutes. So what I did, because again, I want that accountability, is I have Eclipse video questions that you will find in that Google Classroom. And the students can answer some of those questions from the video. Again, just keeping them kind of busy and making sure that they are completing something. The next portion, oh, and one thing I do want to mention about videos, I think some of you know this, but you can add closed captioning, and you can also reduce the speed. She does speak fast, but when you do reduce the speed, she goes a little bit slower, obviously, and she kind of talks a little bit like this, and then it kind of sounds funny. So you just kind of you can modify as needed for students. And again, these will go for like ELD strategies, and also any students who, if there are any mild or moderate teachers in here, right? So you're just taking it easy. Also with videos, stop it and speak to it. That's what I do. After she's done speaking or talking about the solar eclipse, then me and my kiddos have a quick discussion engagement with it. And then you can push play and continue going. So the next part I wanted to show you is Achieve 3000. So Achieve 3000 can be easy because we know that they have access to it on their Chromebooks, on their computers, and then they can complete it and they are good to go. But at the same time, you still want your teacher part. So when it comes to the content, we know that they're kind of working on Achieve 3000s, like one could be about Disneyland, right? Just kind of on their own. But this one is more purposeful. So I would probably guide them with this one, read it out loud, maybe try a close read with it. Everybody just kind of do your own. But one thing that we are finding is that students are using, hopefully they'll be using their Chromebook, but some are using their parents' phone or their own personal phone with Google Classroom device on here. And so if you can place the articles, any article you find, ReadWorks, Newsela, or from NASA, whatever, you can snippy tool and take pictures of it, right? Or screenshot it. So what I have here to show you, or actually I'll show you on another one, is basically if you click on A Wonder in the Sky, I went ahead and just did that for us on these first ones, and I just took a picture of it because it's a little bit easier for them to scroll, right? So it's a little bit easier for them to scroll, zoom in, read this portion, and then keep it going. One thing I wanted to mention is this Achieve 3000 notes document right here. When you click on it, it should ask you to make a copy. But this allows you to see what they know and what they have learned from the article. And it's taking it step by step. So it's going to ask them about the poll. It wants them to take about 3 notes, 3 to 4 notes. And this is editable. I know it sounds funny. I can never say that. You can edit this, that's what I'll probably say. And you know, you can make your squares longer or whatever. If there's a response to the thinking question, there's a summary. I use this in my classroom. I think I found it, I don't even remember, but then I edited it on my own and I printed out in a pink sheet. So it became known as the pink sheet. So the students would be like, I have to turn in a pink sheet a week, right? Because I only asked them to do one. Because if you overdo it with 6th graders, then you already know the drill. They're going to get so tired of Achieve. And I made it purposeful. And we were like the top in our school because I think it was holding them accountable. And then they actually got like 90 to 100%. A lot because we were working on it together. So just to let you know, that's here for you. They can turn it into you on their Google Classroom, but that works out really, really well, okay? Another example of an explain is I'm gonna take it back to that equity that we had discussed. I don't know about some of you guys, but I know just in my class last year, I had 2 students. One was at a 2nd grade reading level and one was at the end of a 1st grade reading level by the time March came around. And that was really hard and difficult, but we were working it out and we had a team. But one thing, of course, is, you know, a lot of these new like ReadWorks or, you know, Newsela, this one, we can change it. So I went ahead and changed this one to a 520 Lexile level. And it actually goes lower than that if you want. But I changed it. I took pictures of that, and then I can put it on a slide deck, and then I can individually send it to those specific students who do need that. I also read it via Screencastify. So I had to kind of play with that myself too, because I never really worked on that. So I'm just going to show you. A Wonder in the Sky, Longyearbyen, Norway. On March 20th, 2015, part of Europe went dark. The moon blocked the sun in a total solar eclipse. It lasted a short time. Okay, obviously, I'm not gonna have you listen to that because I don't even want to listen to that. But you make your own. So you can Screencastify, you can take an article. As you see, there's no video of me. My hair was probably up in a bun and I was just chilling. But you could just read it. So if you feel like you need to, for certain students, bring that Lexile level to literally their level, and then you can read it out loud to them where they can kind of have like that front loading before they get with the classroom. And this is just a quick screenshot of what I was talking about, where I took a ReadWorks article, the Milky Way Galaxy, and I just put it on a slide deck. So I just kind of want to show you that. You can also, since I know a lot of us are thinking map schools, I think we should be all now as a district. I placed this in there, a tree map. So it does require me, the teacher, to kind of go through and actually read the article. And what I did is I chose like 3 main topics, 3 main points, main ideas. And now I want the kiddos to kind of go through and enter their own lessons. So again, it's not just reading to read, but reading for a purpose, okay? So having gone through just those, I wanted to show you. I also want to tell you, there's multiple ways to do this. So this is just one little snippet, and there's 3 lessons. So I tried to make it, like I said, a little bit with variety, but this is where your part comes in about 15 minutes, where you guys are going to kind of go through and see how can you make it your own, and what have you learned? Because I have learned some new things during this Virtual Summer Institute. And now I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. I might try that. I might engage them with this. And as you know, social media, there's a lot of different outlets as well that a lot of teachers are sharing. We are going to share with your colleagues. It's just, my point is, we went from like maybe darkness and like that fear to, wow, cool. Now it's feeling a little bit easier and not as difficult. I can still allow the kiddos to learn. So we're going to go into a short breakout room, and I just want you guys to talk about how did this explain process assist all students with different intelligences, and what digital formats were used. So the video, using Google Slide Deck, having the document, how can this mixed media help students with engagement? And then 3 is highlighted in red for a reason. When you come back, I would like for you to drop this in the chat, or you can also talk about it in your breakout room. But when you come back, and that'll also let me know that you guys are all back, what is one positive comment that you can make so far about your understanding of teaching science virtually? Okay, so again, breakout room. How does this assist all students at different intelligences? How does mixed media help with engagement? And what is one positive comment so far that you can make about teaching science virtually? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set you guys off to your breakout rooms. And again, I might pop into a couple of your guys's, and don't mind me. At first I might come in with a video off and everything, and I'm just listening, and then maybe I'll chime in as well. Okay, so I will see you guys in a little bit. Have fun chit-chatting. Don't forget, when you come back, put number 3 into the chat.
Hi, Christopher.
Hi, Miss Cogley. How's it going?
Okay, so if we can have you quickly go to the chat, and within the chat, can you add your positive comment about teaching science virtually that you have learned about so far? And I'll give you about another minute to do that. So we have La Felicia who has said it's engaging and it's doable. Donna mentioned that, you know, the students have the opportunity to share, right, their thinking through Flipgrid and Google Slides. Oh, it gives students that agency, right? So kind of like that autonomy for them to show what they know. Someone wrote that they're definitely gonna change the reading levels. Well, and then this was brought up in one breakout room that I jumped in on, which is when you do an Achieve 3000, it is set to their level already. But me as the teacher on my end, I changed it on my end so I could screenshot it for them and put it on that slide so that they could read it better. And then I did the video so that they could read it on their own, or they could listen to me reading it on their own before we come together as a class, right? Especially like we mentioned with sixth graders, sometimes they don't want people to know that they're reading at a lower level, right? But now they have a little bit more of that privacy being at home. So of course, making those videos will definitely help. But anyways, I'm hearing some really good things. The interactive elements, it's easily transferable. That's what we're kind of noticing. Finding the materials for the model was a break. It was fun. It wasn't too stressful. Yeah, Teresa, I noticed your son was totally in there, so I cannot wait to go see the Flipgrid. I think that'll be really fun. So obviously, as we're seeing, hopefully a little bit of that fear is kind of rescinding a little bit. We still know our biggest question is how are we going to get materials? So continue to put that and ask that within our district parking lot. That's totally fine. I did hear somebody say that in another breakout room. So, and that's okay. And I think my fear too, right? We know we can possibly go back in the classroom and I might have some items, but what I chose was a little bit easier. Oh, also one more thing. I kind of added into the lessons, like I put, if they don't have the materials, they can, right? And honestly, it's just watching videos. They can actually watch a video of it occurring. Of course, we just don't want it to be where they're just watching the videos the entire time, right? We don't want that. We want them engaging and trying it out. But we know that that can't happen all the time, okay? So the next portions, I'm just gonna go through quickly. Thank you guys for sharing in your breakouts. When we elaborate, we just take it a step further. Usually, sometimes we will have them make a project. It can go back to their original little model that they made, and now they can add some academic vocabulary as they have read or the characteristics of an eclipse. They can use Post-it notes. What I did for this one was I wanted them to actually go and take a look at a diagram, if you see here, and answer some questions. Now they can do this in a group where you can set aside like 4 kiddos to one document and they can all work together and share together to answer some of these questions. Another thing we have here is a website which actually shows a simulation of it occurring and then some questions. But I don't want them to get confused with, is this like a test? No, it's just you responding to what you see. And then last but not least, for the evaluate, for this one, I went ahead and chose a Google form. We know that they're home, so it's not going to be like a big old test. And of course, right now we don't have an answer to assessments, but hey, they could do a quick Google form. I love Google Forms. If you click on here, you'll get an example of it, but I also like it because they're short answers as well. So they could just type in quickly a little bit of their thinking. But those are the 5 E's. So you will find a variety of different types within the first 3 lessons. And like I said, you and your team will be able to kind of work on this on your own. I know many of you possibly went to the science talks last year for TDs on a Saturday. If you were in middle school, if you were 6th grade self-contained, it was not offered for us, because I'm 6th grade self-contained. But science talks is basically integrated kind of with that ELD questioning is, how are you going to elicit those conversations? How can you actually ask them certain pieces? So we linked on here, we linked on here, right here, with these images, different resources that you can take a look at, a quick spiel on why it's important, obviously, for them to use their language and to learn from each other. My favorite part is this flow chart, everybody. When you want them to talk, or this can also help with the questions that you type in a document, use this flow chart. For example, I want kids to explain their thinking. So I'm gonna go to the right. Where were you in this unit? Let's just pretend I was at the beginning. Have them observe a phenomena, write about it, share with a partner, or share or trade again. So you're like, oh yeah, cool. That's kind of what helped me at the very beginning with that engage piece. And then even when I just asked you guys to just shout out your notice and wonder, that was also helping within that science talk. It's pretty simple, but there are some resources for you there. I want to show you quickly the EdTech Center for Science, where you are going to find your items. Okay, so hopefully everybody has this memorized, the EdTech Center, and you have it bookmarked, you're ready to go, okay? So as you know, we have grade level lessons. We are gonna go to 6th grade. And then we're going to click on science. So what we have here is an example of a Google Classroom for the first 2 weeks, just an example that you can kind of go in and see what it could look like using the lessons that have been created. Sorry, it looks, might be going kind of slow. Right here to the left, sorry, I think it's kind of like, oh, there we go. Okay, come on laptop, you're my friend this morning, okay? I love you. We have our 6th grade essential standards where we kind of just honed in a little bit on how long it might take you. About 3 weeks. If you notice, a lot of the essential standards are broken down by weeks by different subjects. But we do know that everyone is different. We know that 6th grade self-contained has 60 minutes, roughly about 60 minutes, and then middle school has 90. So you will definitely kind of work this out and change things up to your needs. We also have the units over here, the unit plan. I wanted to quickly go over this planning calendar, which is suggested. It is not a pacing calendar. You should not, like, I have to be here. It's nothing like that. But the purpose of this was, for example, the engage that we did today with the video and having you respond, that probably would take you a day. That's not going to take you 4 days to do, right? So it's kind of more like that, where it's just giving you kind of like a time frame for each piece. And again, modify as you want. Hey, maybe you want to add more, have a video, have some pictures, because on our units we do have a couple. So maybe instead you want them to come together in groups and talk about it. You use your teacher knowledge to extend this and make it your own. So this is just suggested for you. And here is where you are going to find your lesson. So you will find an actual like little lesson overview that we have for basically all subjects. But my favorite part, everybody, oh, this is your lesson here, which is like a lesson plan where it says lesson 1. This is actually your lesson with like the 5 colors with your 5 E's. Sorry, it's just being a little slow. And within here, you're going to find all of your resources, any documents, any attachments that need be. We did have the shared settings on here for anybody in BCSD can look at. So we're hoping that that works. And if it doesn't, it might say request access. And if I get any of those that say request access, that tells me, oh, it's not working, and I'll go back and change it. So everyone should be able to have access to this. But I want to show you two parts, okay? This right here is your lesson plan, as many of you have seen before with the 5 E's. Over here is a presentation, okay? I went ahead and I made them into presentations so that they're a little bit easier to follow. And also, I know with self-contained, we are teaching lots of different subjects. So it's just kind of nicer to at least start it off like this, where you have something that you can kind of work off of. You don't like the background, change it. If you're like, Alyssa only has like 2 vocabulary words here, I want 10, right? You make it whatever you want. That is the goal, is that you and your PLC are gonna make it better, okay? So I just wanted to show you that quickly, a little spiel on how to access those from the EdTech Center. And now we're gonna dive in. We got about 30 minutes, so we're gonna quickly dive in on how this is going to look like. So, before I move on, do we have any questions that I need to address, Holly, or any questions that any of you may have?
I don't see anything on this end unless anyone has something they want us to share out.
Okay. Okay, it looks like we're good. Okay, so, all right, you guys. We are going to kind of show you what we did and how we worked on the lesson, the units the past couple of years, okay? And we're going to give you a guide at the end. So don't think you have to do everything right now, but I'm going to show you how it looks like, how it works, so that when you and your teams go back and you further this work and you continue the work, you have a guide, okay? I'm really excited about this. I'm going to take it kind of easy because I know it's, isn't easy to go back and forth. But what I like for you guys to do is to go to slide 32. And we are going to click where it says 6th Essential Standard. Okay, so right here, 6th Essential Standard for MS ESS1, which is middle school and earth systems. Okay. So and it's okay, those of you in 6th grade self-contained, it's still the same, okay, even though it says middle school. When you click on it, so one more time, right here, and I think I'll just click on it so you guys can see it when you go on there. It's gonna take you to the NGSS hub, which is really cool, and I really love it because it does the work for you, okay? But don't tell nobody I said that, but it basically does. So they've really planned it out very well. And I want us to kind of come through here first and take a look at what these mean, okay? So you will find what we call the SEP, and that's what you're going to see in the presentation. The SEP stands for Science and Engineering Practices. The DCI is a disciplinary core ideas, aka what are they learning in the content? And then their cross-cutting concepts is basically like the ELA, which is cause and effect in this place, and patterns, okay? So here's their performance expectation, which is to develop and use a model of the Earth, Sun, Moon system to describe the cyclic patterns of lunar phases, eclipses of the sun and moon, and seasons, okay? So something important I want you guys to note. What did we kind of go through right now? Was it lunar phases, eclipses, or seasons? Anybody unmute yourself. Which one did we do? We did eclipses. Yay, thank you. So we did
solar eclipse.
So there's actually 2 other portions to this standard. So if some of you in 7th and 8th, I mean, not 7th and 8th grade, my goodness, in middle school, wait, yes, because some middle schools, you guys are still teaching only 2 subjects, and then there are some who have now gone into self-contained. So if you have more time, because some of you guys do the 90 minutes, you may you and your team can stretch it out and go back. And now we're going to work on seasons. After we did the lunar, the eclipses, we're now going to go to seasons. Okay. So anyways, just sharing that with you, that we don't cover every piece because that would take a whole year, right? But if you want to, this is where you're going to go looking at. So again, let's go here. If I hover over the blue, do you see how it highlights that portion in the standard for me already? Yeah. So this is the science and engineering part. Develop and use a model and describing. When I hover over the orange, that's my disciplinary core idea, which is Earth, Sun, and Moon system, the cyclic patterns of the lunar phases, eclipses, and then when I go to the green, it's the cyclic pattern. Okay, so now I have all of that, and this is going to be my safe zone right here. This is what I need. I am now going to go back over here to the presentation. Okay, so I want to give you a second. I know it's kind of hard going back and forth. And on slide 32, you will see here, right, what is the DCI? We kind of already went over those. But see these sentence frames right here? This is what's going to help you create your own, okay? But I want to share something with you. Do you guys see at the bottom here? Okay, let's see. Your notes right here, there is a link to NGSS where there's a video. I'm going to make it bigger so you guys don't miss it. There's a video of somebody actually showing you that, like showing you and guiding you on how to read that. So it's really cool. I found it and I thought I'd share with you guys, okay? And it's from the NGSS website. So now that you have all of that done, your standard, and it basically did it for you, you're gonna kind of come in, you and your PLC, and make it your own. So this is where we said you can use these sentence frames right here on the corner to try. Students will develop and use a model that shows the cyclic pattern of the sun, earth, and moon, highlighting that the natural system is in a consistent pattern. So as you move on within the unit, I don't know if a lot of you remember, but the kiddos didn't use an apple. They used a styrofoam ball with wiring and flashlights that were given to us in our science kits, and they were able to move it, right? So they did develop their model. They're going to notice it's in a pattern, right? So we know that eclipses don't happen all the time. They do happen a certain amount of years for each different type. And then that it's a consistent pattern, right? It's a natural order, it's a natural system. So as long as we kind of have that nice big chunk dialed down, we're gonna take it to this next piece. Okay, so on slide 34, I'm just gonna show you what you and your PLC can at least start with, like an outline. Okay, what do we wanna do for their engage? Amy, I'm just gonna bring you up, Amy, because you're on my screen. So I would say, Amy, did you find an engage? And she would pop in and say, yeah, why don't we just have them look at an eclipse and watch an eclipse occurring? Sounds great. Other team member, what did you figure out for exploring? Da, 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 da. So this is like your quick outline before you make it all detailed, like what you'll see in the lessons that were designed for you. Kind of just shout out, share your ideas. We want everyone to feel valued, right? I'm very big on PLCs if you don't notice. Also, side note, I was at McKinley since the very beginning. In 6th grade, there's only one 6th grade. So when I went from 5th to 6th, I was all by myself. So trust me when I say PLCs are so important. So you want that, you want to work together and you want to share. So use this as a quick outline at first, right? Backwards mapping to then guide you. You will find here the units. And again, I just quickly left that on there, that standard, so you can always reference it back. So what I would like for you to do now, I'm not going to place you in a breakout yet, okay? Because we do want some of you guys to work together. But I want you to work on your own first because it is a lot to process. And I want to give you that time. So I'm going to share with you what we're going to do next, okay? So I'm going to slow it down, bring my voice down. I'm just kidding. On slide 36, we have the 6th grade units for unit 2, okay? So when you click right here where it says 6th grade units, it's actually going to take you to unit 2. Why? because I haven't touched Unit 2 yet. We haven't worked on Unit 2. We're not working on that just yet. We, of course, want you and your teams to take this for your own. Now, when is Unit 2 going to happen? Not now, later. So this is a really good time just to kind of get a feel for it. When you go to Unit 2, you're going to scroll, I can't see. I think it's like maybe page 4, 5, 8. Once you get to this portion right here, Earth systems, okay? And once you come to Earth system, as you can see, we have a lot of different portions within the unit. But I would like for you to click right here where it says 5E lesson 1, the rock cycle. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment to click on the unit. It'll take you to Unit 2. We're just going to start off with lesson 1, okay, just to get our hands in there. So lesson 1, the rock cycle. Okay, once you're in there, you're going to click on the lesson. And this will take you, I just like to call them the 5Es, but they're like all color coded. This will take you to the lesson that was created for the units in a traditional classroom setting, right? Haven't looked at this. We haven't changed it to make it virtual. So now that you have this, what do you think? What can you do? How can you change this, making it more virtual with some of the pieces that we learned here, but also what have you learned with tech? What new things have you seen or learned on the internet, on social media, with lots of teachers sharing? How can you make this your own? Okay, so here's an engage piece. Here's the explore piece. Also, what are some challenges? Maybe this explore, you're gonna say, I cannot do that. I don't got the kids can't, da, 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 da. So what is option A that I can try out, right? So I just want you to have a time. There's some explaining here. There's the Achieve 3000 option. Honestly, right now, the easiest thing to do is to write, I will change this into a Google slide deck. I will use the Achieve 3000 notes that were shared. I can try to have them blah, blah, blah. Like, this is where I'm just saying you're going to do the quick outline. So if I can have you guys come back really quick to this presentation with me. You see this little outline right here with the colors, okay? This is where you're going to click. It's called the 5E planning template, okay? When you click on here, this is where you're going to quickly jot in your notes, okay? Hopefully it'll make a copy. If it does not ask you to make a copy, make a copy, okay? And this is where you're going to just jot in what I did on 34. Remember how I said it's just going to be a quick watch a video, learn, da, 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 da. But now you're going to add some virtual components to it, okay? I will have you guys come back in 5 minutes. I just want you to dive in, take a peek, look at it, come back in 5 minutes, and we're gonna go over a quick guidebook, okay? Which is honestly thebomb.com. I'm not gonna lie. This is like amazing. So just take some time. I'm gonna give you guys some time to work on that. Do I have any questions before I release you? I know that was kind of a lot, but just let me know. You can even just unmute yourself. Now, are we kind of good? Do you guys kind of get where we're going with it? Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing really quick so I can kind of take a look at some of your chats and your comments. But just remember, we're on slide like 36, 30, yeah, about 36, 34, 33, and then looking at unit 2 to see what you can do. I'll see you guys back here at about 11:50. Okay, so if I can get like a thumbs up that everyone's gonna come back to me, or that you guys are kind of back with me. Thank you. I don't want to like fully interrupt you, but I'm gonna give you the time to obviously go forth with your team and work on this at some point, but I definitely want to show you something. On slide 36, there is a little icon right here, a picture that says the guide handbook. It is basically kind of what I did, but like way more in depth, okay? So I think it is best for you and your teams, hopefully a lot of your other team members, they might even be here right now, or they have already taken this or will take, no, it was the last one. They have already taken it. So you guys can come together and now you guys have an idea of what to do. This Essential Standard Focus guide was created by a colleague of ours, and she worked on this, and it's really, really easy, really good. It's just those stepping tools on how to get to creating a science lesson, which is what we kind of showed you earlier with the standard, how to decode it, and how to make it your own. So what I encourage all of you to do is to take what you have seen today a little bit, take all of that amazing science teacher knowledge. So many of you, I mean, look, I'm gonna hype you guys up, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, like science sometimes doesn't get as much credit as it probably should, but we know that all of you science peeps are like so intelligent, you know what you are doing, you are trying at least to get somewhere. So take all of that with your team and make it amazing for you and make it amazing for your students and your kiddos, because that's all they want. They really just want you. They really just want to be engaged with you and just learning all over again. And so just know that we are all here for you. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out. We do have some articles that we left here for you if you would like to read them on your own time. Just kind of what are some best practices, some websites for science teachers. We always want to give you some resources so that you and your teams can look at on your own time. I want to end really quickly with this slide. And I would love for any of you to share with me. This has been a great session. And I just want to say thank you for sharing, because sometimes it is hard to have people share. So I do appreciate that. Let's just take a look quickly at this picture. And I want you to think about, what does this mean to you now? For you as a teacher going into this educational setting that we're going into now, what does this mean? How does this relate to us right now? And if somebody can share in a moment. So if anyone would like to share, you can just unmute yourself. What do you think this means to you and our current situation?
Okay, I'm going to say what appears impossible is not impossible.
Ooh, high five. I love that. I'm okay. So I'm so cheesy, but I have like this whiteboard back here and I like to put quotes on it. Like nobody reads them but myself and my husband and whatever. But I'm going to use that one because that is so true. I mean, if you told me to build this, I probably would have said no. So yeah, what seems impossible sometimes just is not. All right. Anybody else want?
I would say being flexible and everything will balance out.
Oh, I like that. Be flexible and everything will balance out. Can I get one more? All right. Well, no, not too bad. I know some other colleagues of yours in 6th grade have said, you know, some things weigh heavier than others, right? And we know that. And so, but there is a perfect balance. Somebody also said you take one off and everything tumbles. So that's true, right? Like a little Jenga a little bit. So just remember to balance yourself out. One thing I want to tell you is that you are essential, and you teachers, myself, right? I'm a teacher as well, but teachers as a whole, we really take on so much. And I just want to remind you that no matter what is happening out there, or all the confusion and everything, just remember that you are here. You are at Summer Institute learning to gather more information, and you are just trying to do the best that you can while also taking care of yourself. So just remember that. Think of that balance. Take what we have created in all these subjects, the tech team who are amazing, and put everything on, and just use it to at least get your foot in the door and to get started. I know after this next week, I'm going to be planning, looking at everything, because that's going to help me put my foot in and at least get pushed in and try it out. So just remember and know that you guys are all amazing. I'm not playing about that. Like, teachers are like hands down the bomb.com. So just know that you are appreciated. And the evaluation should be posted on the chat coming up soon from Holly. I truly appreciate you guys spending this morning with me, our last session. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and enjoy this time that you have left at home with your families. And also the sign out will be posted as well. Okay. All right, you guys. We'll see you next time.
So much. Yep. Go ahead, Alyssa. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, that's it. Just saying thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming. Can you, if people could just not post in the chat for just a second and let me get both links in there together? And one thing where we're at right now in the Ed Center, it's absolutely freezing. So my hands, I can't even feel my fingers. So give me just a second. I'll type them in and I'll post them so that they're together. So just give me one moment and I'll have those up for you.
Okay. All right, you guys, I'm gonna put my music back on just to like end it. Thank you guys, I appreciate you. Maybe I'll see you guys later, okay? Bye.
I got